Okay, do not mind me whatsoever. What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel on this bright and beautiful sunny afternoon. I don't know what it is where you are, but over here it's quite sunny. And I'm lying to you. It's stormy outside. It's dark. It's cloudy. Honestly, I would not be surprised if the power goes out. However, hopefully before the power goes out, let's go ahead, if you don't mind, and let's go ahead and listen to the first track off of Soft Machine's album Third, released 1970. I have had this album in mind to listen to for so long. I was gifted the actual record itself quite a while back. We have it over here, está aquí, and we are going to go ahead and listen to this album. The first track, first of all. We'll get through the album, but the first track we'll start with, which is going to be Facelift here off the album. Now, I have my record player set up here. I made sure I tested it. I reconnected everything on it as well. So we are all good to go there. I always test the sound and everything because I have to change the settings from, like using my phone and playing music typically from there and then playing it over here on the player because the volumes are completely different. The mix is completely different. So I always use Kate Bush, Hounds of Love, to test everything out. And let's say it sounds good. So before we get into the music, let's go ahead and open this bad boy up. Now, while this will be the first time on the channel that Soft Machine will be featured, this will be their debut here, I have listened to their album Fourth already. So I am familiar with Soft Machine. I am familiar with their psychedelic jazz tastings and delights. Gotta love the inside cover on this one, by the way. They are just all cool, laying about. This must be like after one of their heavy recording sessions where they're just they're just done for the day, perhaps for the week. They are drained and all of their energy has been expended into the album. So let's go ahead and load up the first vinyl here, the first record. Like I said, we're going to be listening to Facelift. It's going to be the first track. So for now, I'm going to set this up here. I'll probably grab it to look at it while we listen. And let's make sure we put on the right track. Hold on. You always got to find the opening in here. There we go. Make sure we put it on the right side. There we go. Facelift. Make sure the face is correct that we're going to put it on. And I think, guys, we're pretty much ready to go. But I hope that you're looking forward to this. Hope this was a nice surprise because I didn't really... Well, if you were on Twitter, I mentioned something about it, but I didn't really hint at it. So, yeah. Without further ado, if it's your first time here, thank you so much for clicking on the video and showing up. Don't make it your last. And if it is your last time here, I appreciate you stopping by in the first place. Let's go ahead and get the album rolling with Soft Machine. Third, let me put my headphones on because otherwise I won't be able to hear anything. And that would be an issue. Let's go ahead and press play on this thing. And let's go. Isn't this like this feeling of anticipation like the best? Never gets old. that it? I think that's it. Okay, so I don't know where to start. Okay, really quick question: what is making that sound in the beginning of the track and at the ending of the track? Did it just lift? Okay, yeah. Like, I have no idea what is that Megatron screaming at Starscream noise that's happening. What is that glitchy sound? Is that the organ? I mean, it has to be, right? It has to be the organ being manipulated in some way. I don't know what we're doing. I don't know if we're, plugging something in, plugging it back in, or taking something and moving it somewhere. I don't know, but there's something going on. Maybe with the wiring within the organ itself. There's something fishy going on there. All right. So I've heard Fourth. So I know what to expect in a sense, because that album is very progressive psychedelic jazz. This also is very psychedelic jazz, very freeform, very improvised? Very improvised. It really, really, really reminds me, and just because we're currently listening to it, of Miles Davis, Bitches Brew, right? Now, this was released, what did I say, 1970? Mm-hmm. Released June 6th, 1970. Want to know when Miles Davis, Bitches Brew was released? March 30th. 1970. I wonder if, I know it's different times, but I wonder if Miles Davis ever listened to Third from Soft Machine when this was released. And vice versa, I wonder if Third heard Miles Davis and were like, ooh, I don't know, like, what was going on. But there's a similarity there, right? And like I said, they're both moving in this psychedelic freeform jazz, but mixed with different styles kind of direction that I really enjoy. Here with Third, kind of like I said, we're moving into this progressive psychedelic kind of sound that's playing in the dissonance, right? So especially in the beginning and several moments throughout, there's a lot of dissonance going on. There's a lot of clashing. There's a lot of sounds that are arguing with one another and in competition with one another, and it's in a very ugly battle. But at the other side of this dissonance is decadence. There's also this beauty that arises from these scars. Like, part of the ending, right before it got back into Megatron, it sounded like it was just like going into a very typical, straightforward jazz piece. Which I was like, okay, we're done with all the maniacal stuff going on. Which, by the way, don't listen to this album if you're outside in the summer heat, because you will get heat stroke. Just a warning, a word of caution to you. But yeah, I do think it's really cool how, just this one piece, I think it's about 18 minutes long, I believe. That's what I saw. 18 minutes long. How they go through so many different changes within. And even though some of the changes are sudden, like the first one, outside of that, I keep on calling it the Megatron bit, but outside of that, as soon as the part comes in after that, which I can't rewind because, vinyl, like, it's a shift that just hits you in the face. And yet at the same time, it feels good. It feels like it's moving the right direction. So it feels like a change that's worthy of that change, of that movement in the music. And Facelift. I know that Soft Machine were not always a band of this ilk, of this genre, So is this the first album where they kind of move into this jazzy sound? I'm not sure. I have to look at that. Speaking of Miles Davis and their kind of similarities, I do think it's cool how you can hear the Canterbury scene and the Canterbury sound within this album. Like, there's just little things that if you weren't to tell me, like, that this album and Soft Machine and who's playing on it are part of the Canterbury scene, there's little sounds in here that remind me of, like, Caravan. Remind me of Caravan. I don't know, that's just what I'm feeling. It's especially because of the organ. And some of the way that's being played reminds me of 9 Feet Underground. Just some of the sounds, Like, the Canterbury scene has certain sounds that, at least for myself, still very new to that and, understanding it, it already places me in that particular scene. So I think that that's cool to hear how Soft Machine, in particular, kind of mix those genres together. The Canterbury scene with jazz and freeform, very psychedelic. Their manipulation of sounds into who knows what is just incredibly interesting. Let me just see if there's any, interesting facts about this. It says that this is the most radical track It says that it was, I guess, recorded first live at Fairfield Halls in 1970. And then some recordings from the 1969 Space Project. You hear the thunder? I told you, it's really about to go. While a large part of the finished product is essentially a live recording, parts involve tape collage and speeding up, slowing down, looping, and backwards playing at tapes. The ending being the most memorable part. Yeah, I did hear that part. That's why I said, okay, it's being playing backwards. It says, were two different treatments of the same basic riff, one from the live concert, the other at double speed from Spaced, are heard simultaneously backwards. That part is really cool. I mean, I know it's backwards, but it does completely flip everything on its other end, on its other side. And I would imagine all those tape collage, speeding up, speeding down, parts, burn and Eno kind of stuff. I'm imagining that's probably what's being played in the beginning and the ending of the track. I would guess. I'm not, 100% sure. Also, another thing, just before we end, I did think it was really cool. The things that stuck out to me the most, I should say, were the organ and then the horns that were being played. And then the flute, by the way. I forgot that there was a flute. That's going to be Lynn Dobson playing the flutes. Maybe it's just because the first flautist that I think of is Ian Anderson. But, I mean, I heard some I heard a little breath in there. There would be nothing wrong with that. And then the organ is going to be played by Mike Ratledge. And then the drumming, Robert Wyatt, who we've heard. We've listened to some of his music already here on the channel. I mean, it's just fabulous. There's so much going on in here. This sounds a little bit more, for lack of a better word, progressive than Bitches Brew. Whereas Bitches Brew kind of establishes this motif, this platform, and then just kind of plays within the boundaries of it. Sometimes playing outside of the lines. This sounds like it's just completely different drawings. This sounds like we're drawing something, sketching it, flipping it over, sketching something new, flipping it over, maybe coming back to a sketch for reference, and then going back and finishing our next drawing. This feels like it has some sort of progression in it. I just think that's really cool. Whereas to me, Miles Davis, what we've listened to so far on the channel, I should say, is a little more meditative in a sense. This is not dancey, but progressive in a different way. Very dynamic, Anyways, this was really cool to listen to. Hope that you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for being here in the first place. And before you leave, sorry about that. Before you leave, if you don't mind, just clicking the like button. It helps me a great deal. You can also subscribe to the channel if you feel so inclined. You can support the channel on Patreon if you'd like to help with finances. And you can also follow me on Twitter if you just want to lurk and perhaps comment and retweet and all that kind of stuff. You can read some of my random ramblings. There's not too many, but every once in a while I spit a ramble. But otherwise, I hope that you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for spending some of your time with me, some of your day or your evening. Hope that you come back tomorrow. There should be something good for you. I mean, come on, there will be something good for you. And thank you so much for being here again. Enjoy the rest of your night, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.